Knockback reduction 0, OMG, so reduced. Just because he did that doesn't mean anything, lol, you're retarded. Maybe he was just testing it out. And everyone, time to debunk Tenebris's claims, the knockback reduction claims. The values he points to are by default set to 0 in the configuration file of our code. The reason we have added this feature was because we wanted to test a custom feature for a certain game mode that we wanted to implement pre-beta. We decided not to go forward with it, but we left the values in due to being lazy. We added Verzide to the list, as he's the one with the most PvP experience, and he could actually adjust these values for our game mode. Again, we scrapped the idea, and left the code there by accident. The value was never changed in the server. Tenebris should do research before talking. You're spreading misinformation, Tenny, and I'm very disappointed in you. You seem to have missed the point. This was done by the Patron development team, pre-beta, in order to test a game mode we were planning. And as Verzide was clearly the most experienced player in our midst, we added him to the set, which would have aforementioned reduced knockback. These values were scrapped. The code originally shows that the values by default are 0. Therefore, no reduction was being applied while the server was still in beta. Sorry, Tenny, you don't know what you're talking about this time. Cheers.
Nice.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, after I posted my video yesterday, I got a barrage of comments and dislikes, and people basically saying, oh, Tenebris, you're lying because the server owner told us that, this value was not actually put into the game, and it was just in the beta, and stuff of that sort, and this doesn't actually mean anything because the value wasn't modified, etc., etc., and because of that, Manny, who is the ex-developer of Patron, actually made a response on Twitter, which I was going to cover in a video last night, but I decided against it because I wanted to see how things would develop here, but now that it's developed fully, I'm going to continue with this video. So you can see right here, he says, Verzide and Patron responses, read. So in this little twitlonger here, he kind of goes over a FAQ about what actually happened. And this is in order to respond to the claims that the owners were making at the time. And I'm going to get to it in a second, but the owners actually basically said that they were basically lying and were tricked themselves by a specific developer, which I'm not going to name, who gave Verzide this advantage. So you can see right here that Manny basically explains that it's not actually a plugin, it's actually in the spigot, which means that it's not toggleable, it's always in the server, and there would be no reason to add it other than to give Verzide an advantage. And obviously they're going to deny this, they're going to say it's for beta testing and some of that sort, but that's actually not true. The reduced knockback velocity that was given towards Verzide was always enabled, and there wasn't any way to toggle it, meaning it was always used in the lifetime of the server. It wasn't anything experimental and was functional. Now, he was actually admin on Patron/developer. He also had some controversy about backdooring the anti-cheat, but to be honest, I'm not really interested in that. Obviously, that's not something I agree with, but it doesn't matter. That's like irrelevant to this particular point. Like, even if he did, it doesn't actually prove this point false. Now, there's actually a big controversy about why the values were set to 0, and you can see that he says, at the time of fetching the evidence, I didn't have any access towards any of the server, nor wanted to do any harm to the server. The spigot pre-generated the configuration with Verzide inside it, and the default values were 0, but on the server it wasn't. Repeating myself, it was not toggleable and was always active. Where does the misplace come from? On the anti-cheat, it alerted everyone from cheating 3.1 reach. With that being said, I was told to exempt Verzide from any alerts being produced, auto-clickers or reach, and ensure that the anti-cheat doesn't ban, hence why there isn't any logs about Verzide. This was added throughout the lifespan of the server. This wasn't used on the server, it was in the goddamn spigot. They used PvPLAN spigot with edits for Verzide to have velocity at all time. It wasn't toggleable. Yeah, so pretty much the deal is that this was always on the server, exactly what I was saying in the video. This is the argument that was made by Manny again, reiterated, and finally we have a developer of this is coming at us from Zayna. This is actually in the Patron official server. This screenshot was actually deleted, but P-Tech, who is one of the main people who was actually arguing against me on Twitter and against Ghosts and other people who are accusing Patron, basically admitted that he's completely false. He says, I'm sorry to announce this, but the rumors are true. Try as you might, defending an incompetent person from their terribly misplaced decisions, pun intended probably, is near impossible. I've been trying to defend Verzide's integrity because it also reflected onto Patron. Patron is a server which one of my friends held very dear while working on. But time after time again, Verzide has been nothing more than a nuisance and a problematic person to the development and management of the team. The knockback reduction feature was indeed added. No, the values were not modified to my knowledge, which he actually rescinded that opinion on a PM with me. So he actually said that the values are actually multiplied. I'll put a screenshot of that on the screen right now. But they were definitely there for malicious intent, to give Verzide an advantage over others. So you guys might say, like, oh, well, this is not something that is occurring all the time or anything. This is only on this one server. Verzide would never do this again. Well, it turns out he did this on Faithful MC, okay? That's the truth. He did it on Faithful MC. As you can see right here, Manny's talking about it. I'm best friends with the developer of Faithful MC. He's an ex-developer of Faithful MC. I'm not going to mention his name here. But basically, Verzide was using a server-side cheat on that server too, and he asked for it to be implemented. It's not like he was just randomly given it. He was like asking for it. So yeah, I don't know how someone's gonna respond to this. I assume Verzide's probably gonna make a response video, and it's probably gonna be filled with excuses, but we're gonna have to see how it goes. So yeah, basically, maybe next time you can, maybe look at the evidence objectively and not just blindly believe people because they, have more subscribers or whatever. But yeah, regardless of that, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.